Hello everybody.
Hi.
It is us.
We're back.
Yeah. A lot is different from when we last posted, which was the reason of our unexpected absence.
Yeah, it felt so weird to post our typical cute cozy content in New York City. Coming off the tail end of the election, and I know a lot of you have been struggling as well.
Yeah. Thank you to everybody who reached out post the election. We did get a few messages from followers who were either looking to commiserate or sending love, and I think that that's just so sweet and thoughtful. So thank you.
I feel so lucky to have cultivated such a empathetic community on here. It gives us hope coming from a place where hope seems quite scarce.
Yeah, we don't want to come on here and be super doomsday. I feel like the news has been doing that plenty, but I think it is worth talking about just in case. We do have a lot of new followers on here who might have not lived through the last time we really made our beliefs known, even though I believe the way that we live our lives should be very clear indicators.
I feel like the cozy content genre can sometimes veer to the far right and the trad wife community, and sometimes that does concern me. The way that we're presenting ourselves in our very cottagecore, slow living, lovers of all things vintage vibes. I feel like
yes.
It is very important for us to make our stance known.
Yeah, it's I love old things, but they would have killed me if it was the old days and I was rocking around holding the hand of the person I walk around holding the hand of. It's you guys, we are gay immigrants. If you're new here, get a clue. Yeah, those are kind of front and center things about us and what we believe and how we live our lives, and also the communities that we try to protect as well. So we're certainly not going to come on here and be he's coming for us, guys. Let's just be serious. Look at the way that we walk, talk, sit, stand, eat, drink like princess.
We are so aware of our privilege as white cis people who English is our first language. We definitely know that we are not the mouthpiece of the marginalized.
Yeah, to be
although
clear,
we are members of these intersectional communities and they mean such a great deal to us.
Yeah, but we are more concerned genuinely for people who are vulnerable, who live in red states, who are trans, who are black or brown, or behave in any kind of way that Trump has been very clear at mocking or demeaning, maligning, demonizing. We're not coming on here to throw a pity party, and definitely not coming on here to be my life is gonna be so different.
Yeah,
I think that it's pretty obvious that if that was the case, I think more white women would have voted a certain way, but here we are. I want to make it clear that this is a safe space and this is a place of safety and allyship, and
100%.
We're not out here being oh, so cozy, but not for you.
On this channel, cozy is for everybody, and I think as someone who ingests a lot of content, I think there is such an overwhelming feeling of doom and gloom where you are now wondering if your favorite creators voted against your rights. And so we wanted to just make it very clear that there's none of that hokey pokey going on over
yeah.
I think some rhetoric being tossed about by a lot of conservatives is, but don't worry, your life isn't going to change that much day to day. And that is something that upsets us because, quite frankly, we don't know how to explain to others that you should care about other people and you should have empathy for people differently than you, who come from different backgrounds and who live in more vulnerable areas.
Yeah, for instance, we live in New York. I am able to pay $0 a month for my health care because I make only a certain amount a year. I wish that that was the case for everyone. I'm not a monster. I'm in a lesbian relationship. I don't really have to worry about being pregnant on the day-to-day.
Not yet.
Not yet. Later down the line.
Gay marriage, IVF,
the whole Project 2025 nonsense. Yeah. It's a gay person wanting IVF. Now that's just unnatural. And to go into reproductive rights specifically, whether or not you believe that abortion is not something that would be a personal choice for you, it's definitely something that should be allowed for other people. And it's also the fact that I just don't think a lot of people are educated on that abortion access is healthcare. When people say that, it's not just a funny phrase. It's because abortion is the treatment that doctors use for a number of pregnancy complications. Ectopic pregnancies are incredibly common. Most people know somebody who knows somebody who's had one. And if people are not able to get the health care that they need, It's so spooky. And Caroline O'Donoghue said this really well on her Instagram. What if someone lives in California, but their parents are in Florida? That means for the entirety of their pregnancy, that person might not even be able to travel home at any point during their pregnancy to see their parents, because they would be getting completely different care that would put their lives at risk in either state.
Yeah, if something happens and they're in Florida, like, what are they gonna do?
I think that this has left us with a lot of thoughts and feelings about the different ways that we can show up in our communities and through mutual aid, through volunteering. We're already kind of looking around thinking, like, what can we do better going forward in these 4 years to make us feel a little less bleak and to make us feel like we're taking care of our own to the best that we can. So that's something that we are thinking about. It's just good to know where the people who you're watching stand. So that's the situation with us.
We felt like it would not align with our integrity to just continue business as usual with our content. So it just, like, it meant so much to us to be able to, like, speak on this for a little bit, even if we might lose engagement, might lose followers. This video is purely for those who need a source of comfort and to commiserate with other people online without feeling like you're going crazy by, like, seeing people jumping right into, like, doing hauls and just, like, regular content
is coming,
without acknowledging what just happened. And, like, we're all still processing and grieving, like, what's to come. So we really wanted to speak on that, but also simultaneously know that we could all use a little bit of comfort, especially as the days continue to darken and January is quickly approaching. So we did want to do a little Q&A with all of you and have some fun, answer your questions, and hopefully try to distract ourselves a little bit while still staying informed and engaged, if you will. Okay, so we did get quite a few questions on what are the new work goals these days, any luck with the job search out there, Aline, how is writing going? So we thought we'd jump right in to our current status with work stuff and our general creative careers. Do you want to kick us off?
I do. So I have been getting some comments on some YouTube videos that have been asking if I still work at my coffee shop. And you guys, yeah, baby, I'm still a barista at heart. Just kidding, I'm a barista physically 4 times a week, sometimes 5. I actually got 2 raises at work not too long ago, which is kind of a thrill. I got a raise on my hourly wage, and I also got a raise in profit sharing. So there is a little program at the coffee shop where I work where we get a percentage of the company's profits at the end of every single month. It's kind of like a bonus paycheck depending on how business has gone, and it's a kind of good faith paycheck from our owner to us to thank us for, like, making the whole thing run. It's very, like, ethical and delightful and like a really special thing that I haven't really encountered anywhere else. You basically opt in the moment you've been there over a year, and I got it around the 8th month mark because I'm quite good at my job. And I got a raise, so I went from 1% to 2% in October. I have been enjoying a little extra cash, but don't be deceived because I did pay an arm and a leg to go to the UK. So I have been mostly just sitting at home. The trades you make in life, you know, and I'm lucky to be able to do that and still work at a service job. That's great. I've been taking on more responsibility there because of my raise. For those of you who are familiar with my journey, I was working at Vice and Refinery 29 for the last, like, 2-ish years, maybe a little less, maybe a little under that, up until the end of February, where I very unexpectedly got laid off. I took some time to recharge, rethink what I wanted to do with life, and then this summer started applying to jobs, just a range of copywriting positions, marketing, social media, content creation, all that jazz. And I am still applying for jobs. However, I did this month start freelancing again, which has felt really good, has given me a sense of purpose, has made me feel productive, and also, to bounce off Aline's point of paying off our trip, has given me a little bit more cushion financially to be able to pay that off, which is huge. I am very lucky that I have a lot of savings. My last
few jobs in the marketing space were quite highly paying positions, which I feel so lucky to have had that, because I funneled that money away into my savings account like it was nobody's business, because financial insecurity terrifies me to my very core, as I have had quite an unstable career. Even working in corporate, like I feel like I've had to exit jobs, whether it was my choice or not, a few times. It's helped so much throughout this year to have that, and I feel really like lucky to be in a position where I am able to like still live pretty comfortably, as much as I'm trying to, you know, save and cut expenses here and there. But I am still applying for full-time roles, taking on freelance work, and seeing where we go
so many leads
from there.
It's crazy. I'm sure this will be a topic for another video when you eventually do your I got a job video, but it is wild how many final stages of interviews Michelle's gotten to and then has been ghosted as if she never existed.
It's tough out there. So if you're in the job hunting mayhem as well, I'm sending you love and patience, because
love and light.
It is hard, but onwards and upwards, you know, as they say.
People ask me about my writing, which is so sweet. Obviously, the election rattled me to my very core, so I've taken a beat from every single
creative energy that we have.
I did compete in another writing competition starting last week. I got the prompt on November 6th, and I was like, oh good lord, I get to write about cozy fantasy, which was honestly kind of a nice reprieve from the day-to-day. And I wrote something that I really liked. It won't be able to be published on my Substack for a while they judge the competition. I don't think I'm gonna win anything on this one. I think that it's very nice and I like it a lot, but it needed a little extra polish. For those of you who don't know, I do have a Substack called Chicken Scratch. It's still in its infancy, but she's coming along, and I've got some big plans for her, which I am very excited about. But as far as my book goes, because if you've been subscribed for a while, most of my content when I'm doing my daily vlogs involves a lot of my writing and working on my novel. It's complicated because I'm actually having a bit of an issue with my project where I wonder if it's just like too large scale for where I'm at currently with my skill set and time availability in my life. So I actually might pivot and start working on a fiction project now that I'm on like the second draft of my fantasy novel. I feel like it was a huge accomplishment. It is a huge accomplishment, and it's not me putting it down forever. I just am wondering if I should work on something that's a little bit more
achievable to tackle in a probably a smaller amount of time.
Yeah, that can be achieved in a smaller time frame. I would really love to be able to go through the querying process at least once before I go back to this project, see what I can learn, get my sea legs there. I feel like it would be interesting to write something a little bit more contemporary, a little bit more grounded, and see what I can uncover. So I might start doing that in the new year, but I do have some exciting stuff coming up soon that's neither writing or coffee, so we'll talk about that in a little bit probably.
Yeah, in a minute actually. We did get some questions on any more travel plans coming up. Would you ever move back to Chile? What are you looking forward to? So I feel like that goes into the next topic quite nicely.
Long story short, we are going home for the holidays.
Yeah, we're so excited. We're going back to Montana where our parents still live. That's where we grew up for half of our childhood, went to college there, and it's always so beautiful to go back for Christmas time. Boy, did those tickets cost us an arm and a leg to go back.
I think it's double than it cost us to go to London.
Or maybe triple, depending on what we get for our return tickets. But we are so excited to see our parents and spend time with our dogs and see the snow, be back in our little small town. It's just like so lovely to be in your hometown for the holidays. Especially Missoula just has such a special place in our hearts, and we're gonna have a ball when we go back there for sure.
It's gonna be the best. Already counting down the days. So is my mom. And then you guys, what a twist. I actually am going international quite soon. Truly, people. He was talking about me. This has been on my bucket list for a really long time. We haven't been back to Chile since 2017. For those of you who don't know, what our dad does is that he runs a small travel agency that operates out of Chile. He's done this our whole lives. Basically, he owns and operates several fly fishing lodges, fly fishing experiences, travel experiences, which largely have to do with outdoor recreation for the most part. And what a special way to grow up. We got access to like such beautiful spaces all our lives. I have always been really interested in doing some work for him. A little nepotism action. But this is finally the season that I'm gonna get my waders wet, if you will, and take on a little bit of work for him. So come January 1st, literally New Year's Day by Taylor Swift.
2025.
Yeah, I'm gonna be flying down and spending the month in Chile working on a boat with my dad, doing some like social media stuff, doing some like guiding stuff, really figuring out like where my strengths lie, getting trained in a lot of these different areas that have to do with this specific tour. It's gonna be on a boat. It's gonna go through the Chilean fjords. And then I'm gonna go see my cousins who are gonna be working in the Patagonia for the season for like 5 days. So it's gonna be really, really exciting. I'm gonna be spending a couple days in Santiago. It's gonna be really
gorgeous,
really exciting, really beautiful to behold.
A life-changing experience.
I think so too. I am getting a little nervous because I haven't really spent any time like that away from my regular life here. So that's a little daunting. We all know how I'm a little codependent with this one, and then how I also love New York in January. I famously wrote like a viral poem about it. I'm going to miss it a lot, but
yeah,
I think it's gonna be worth it.
But it'll always be here.
Yeah.
And this trip won't, so that'll be so special. I will not be attending because I am very financially scared, and I've already done so much travel this year as someone who was unemployed. Thank you, Capital One, for my miles. That's been a sweet surprise. So I will be sitting out on this trip.
So
however, if I somehow get some sort of big wig job offer before the end of the year, who knows? I might just impulse buy a ticket and go hang out there as well. As of now, I'm not going, but I think it'll be really such a beautiful experience for Aline. And Aline is way more outdoorsy than I am. I am what you would call a bona fide city girl. Way more up Aline's alley, and she's gonna have such a great time.
I might see whales.
For those of you who are followers on Instagram, which this might be the ultimate incentive for you to finally follow us on Instagram if you haven't already, those numbers aren't lining up. Like, there's 26,000 of you here, hardly any of you over on the IG. I did hard launch something kind of sweet, kind of spectacular over on my Instagram stories. There still is not a hard launch on the feed, but keep your eyes posted. So maybe pause the video and go scuttle over
maybe
there.
It's up there now. Maybe you should go check and follow now.
Maybe you should go give me a little stalk, because I did get a question. First, congratulations, Michelle, on your new partner. Any info you can share, like how you met. So people want to know how me and my new partner met. Boy, am I gonna tell you. We met on Hinge. Our first date was, by the time you're watching this, it'll be like 7 months ago. So we've been dating for 7 months.
That's a thrill.
And it's just been such a sweet and special time. I feel like it's been like such a difficult year for me, obviously work-wise, and this has been such a like just sweet surprise. Our first date was at the Bink in Brooklyn Heights. It's a really cute little bar. We got cocktails, we got a charcuterie board to share. It was just one of those dates that like last like 5 hours long because you can't stop talking.
They're the best, they're lovely. And we're all gonna be spending Thanksgiving together, which is also very cute.
But yeah, we became official in August, although let's be real, it was official way long before that. But I've been keeping it kind of on the DL because I feel like these things are just like, I don't know, so precious, and I didn't want to just like throw it all over social media. But that being said, I've been sharing a few snippets of our relationship and the things that we've been doing on my Instagram story. And we dressed up as Harry and Sally for Halloween.
So cute.
It's just been wonderful. It's just so easy, so fun. I don't think they're gonna be on the vlogs anytime soon. That's just something I think me and Aline are very aligned on, where we want to keep our relationships pretty private, I would say, unless it's like, I don't know, funny little clips and cute pictures here and there on Instagram, maybe a little on TikTok. But yeah, it's been such a great time.
I can confirm, I can co-sign. An excellent pick, if I do say so myself.
Ollie's like, they have my blessing. I think this goes very naturally into some of the next questions, which are, do you plan to eventually move in with your partners instead of living together? Long-term plans on staying in the city? Do you think you'll ever move from New York City? If so, why and where? If not, why?
Plan to not live together is so funny. Well, obviously.
We would like to reassure everybody that we will not be living together forever.
Yeah, we're not creepy.
We're not weird like that. We will eventually go our separate ways as far as like where we're living, move in with our partners or move in by ourselves. But now we're soaking up the sweet sister sweet.
Yeah, maybe sometimes people don't realize, or I don't want to be condescending because that's no fun, but New York is a roommate town. Like, it truly is capital R roommate, capital T town. Yeah. Like, unless you are really comfy, cozy financially, it is very difficult to find a place that is not a hole in the wall to live by yourself.
Yeah, it's misleading because a lot of influencers who have really big followings and are New York creators, they probably live by themselves because they have a lot of money.
So much, they're raking it in hand over fist. They can't
we're
get enough
We're not
money.
at that level, but all of our friends basically have roommates, so
or they live with partners.
Yeah. So it's very common to have a roommate in New York. I feel like even like into your 30s, honestly. Like, I feel like late 20s, 30s, like, it's still very common.
I know some people in their 40s who have roommates. Not that that's gonna be us, obviously not, but I'm just saying. It's an incredible challenge to try to figure out your housing situation in a secure way in New York. Like, that's just, it's a renter's town. It's not exactly the easiest going place to live. We're really lucky where like we get along really well as friends and as people, but also we're very compatible, like, living together wise. We keep the place the same amount of clean. We are both mutually invested in it running a certain way. We also share the burden of homekeeping, which is also a huge thing. I think a lot of people don't really get that from a roommate. It's nice to be able to be like, oh, we're gonna share the burden of grocery shopping and we'll take turns.
Dividing chores, dividing cooking, caring for a cat Birdie. So it's just a great situation. We have a beautiful apartment on the Upper West Side for a really screaming good deal, and we are not looking to move anytime soon. I know Aline has her own timeline with her partner on what they're thinking of in regards to moving in with each other, but I think we're both very much not in a rush to get to that next phase, because ideally, in a perfect world, you're then in that next phase for the rest of your life, or for the significant future. And this period of time where we're living with our sister, it's just like, I don't know, we'll never be able to like quite replicate it, and it's going so well that we're like, why stop the party anytime soon?
Also, I do think that because of New York's high rent, it does oftentimes push partners to moving together at an accelerated rate, and I think that that's great for some people, but I also think that it's not great for a lot of other people. Me and my partner are separate people with separate goals, separate needs for our housing, especially like right now. We're both like young creatives, very scrappy, and we have been really loving like having intentional like time together and also intentional time apart, but we also have significant goals for the future. As Michelle said, like, I have my own timeline with my partner. We're quite subversive for
a queer couple
because we're not a WLW. We are just a little bit, how you say, taking our time. We both have stuff that we would like to accomplish before we also take that step together, because we do realize that like living together is a stressor, and it's not something I think you should go on lightly. It's very hard to untangle also once you're in it. My partner lives in Bushwick because it's very close to the stand-up scene. I live up here because it's close to my work, and also I'm obsessed. And those places are very different. In order for us to compromise, it would be a compromise. There would be things that we would give up on either end. So it's like, why are we gonna rush into that? Just seems like a recipe for resentment, and we're also really happy. So there's actually no reason, like, we're on the same page.
There's no like, oh, there's trouble afoot for them.
No,
absolutely not.
We've both taken turns, being the people being like, should we wait a little more long? It's not just one person leading the charge while the other person like twiddles their thumbs waiting for the other person to be ready.
But yeah, probably most likely in the next, what, like couple of years?
Yeah, 2 to 3 years.
2 to 3 years, things will be different over here, but we're not in a rush. And as for if we're planning on leaving New York City anytime soon, absolutely not. Like, I don't know, I can't speak for Aline, but like, I am so tired of moving and uprooting my life. I think that like, even just, obviously we immigrated in our younger years when I was 13 and Aline was 10, from Chile to Montana, but then also coming to Montana from New York was also a very like culture shock, like needing to create your community from like
the ground
up like experience, and I'm tired of that. The majority of my friends live here. I'm just starting to really dig into like having more community here. Both of our partners live here, and we're just not in a rush to pivot to something different. I feel like things will most likely change if and when we choose to like have a family. Who's to say? Things can change at the drop of a hat, but we're not planning anything anytime soon.
Also, New York is amazing. It has attributes that you cannot find anywhere else in the United States that are like akin to a lot of large like European cities as well, like public transit, accessibility to other states on the eastern seaboard.
A lot more like history and like striking architecture, massive park. It really does feel like its own little world, and there really isn't a city in the United States I feel like that's comparable, at least for us and what we're really into. If we had to live somewhere else, I feel like we both kind of lightheartedly throughout our trip to the UK have mentioned multiple times that we would love to live in London. Like,
I'd still love to live in London. I'm very serious about that.
It's just the best, and we could definitely see like a transition from New York to London being quite smooth, but I feel like
it's hard because your family's so far away. It would be like another huge undertaking.
Yeah, not only getting like the visa and like all the immigration stuff squared away, but like uprooting your life to a different continent. Like, we've done it before, and it's a tough time. And then you're far away from your family, and you have
we have a kitty cat.
Yeah, we have a cat. Like, I don't know if our partners would want to go either.
I've talked to my Ellis, and quite frankly, they seem open, but especially after the political situation that's happening. No, it's probably not gonna happen, but definitely somewhere we want to spend more time. I feel like I could definitely do like a summer there, you know, and stuff like that.
And we're still shopping around for places that we'd want to settle down if we choose to do that, if we do leave New York, like where we'd want to settle down. It's kind of tricky, but we'll keep you in the loop.
I love New York State. I'm not alone, obviously. I like upstate New York. You ever heard of it? It's beautiful up there. I love being able to go home to the west as well, but we'll freak out when we find out.
And also, to squash any rumors, we're not moving back to Montana, and we're not quote unquote happier when we're in Montana.
Yeah, people are
crazy. There were some rumors that like, oh, you just don't seem happy in New York, and oh, obviously you should go back to Montana.
Someone really commented, oh, you should stop trying to make the New York thing work and go back to Montana.
Yeah, stop trying to make New York happen.
And I'm like, well, girl, I have some news. I do like living here.
So happy here and so settled here. No, that's not happening. Maybe when we're 40.
So I guess that brings us to the end of the video. Hope that you've had a good time catching up with us, and it's always a delight to have you here in our living room. Regularly scheduled vlogs, day in the life stuff. It's coming back so soon. So don't stress about that. It's on our agenda, it's on our calendar.
Yeah, we just wanted to do a little bit more of a quick check-in, a quick temperature check with all of you, because I know it's been such a hard month, let's just be real, for a lot of people who have feelings and empathy for other people. And if you are still here after this kind of personal, kind of rambly video, you're real, like, you're, the top of the nice list this Christmas.
Because we are also Santa. Coming out as
Santa Claus. Thank you again so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.